Hi guys, today we're doing a portfolio update video. In this one, we're going to be discussing what are the best places to park your capital if you have a little bit of a risk on mode. And of course, keep in mind that huge disclaimer, there is nothing that is even remotely close to a financial advice in this video. The point of the video is to help you create a framework for your own thesis in crypto. So while this is basically my portfolio and a consultation of everything that we've been discussing in Discord for the last year and a half, this is very comprehensive, but of course, you need to make your own decision what of these ecosystems you're mostly bullish on and how you're going to construct your own portfolios. Now, other than this a little bit risky portfolio strategy, you also have two other options. First one is you can simply buy yourself a ledger or any hardware wallet and simply buy Bitcoin, ETH, SOL, and there's not a single person in the last 5 years who bought these three crypto assets and just held them through thick and thin. They're all sitting in profits today. So hodling is basically one strategy that you can use. It is very hands-off, and depending on your goals in life and time allocation that you can dedicate to crypto, there's literally nothing wrong with that strategy also. And then another one, third strategy that you might be having some exposure to is one we actually have in the works as of today. There is one real DeFi wizard that we are finalizing a partnership with. So we're hoping to bring him on board on the channel this week, next, or in the next 2 weeks. And this guy has been generating between 10 to 12.5% monthly on most of his farms, and that is insane because it's real yield, concentrated liquidity on Uniswap, Solana, like Orca or Radium. It's actually crazy. So if that happens, that we actually create something, some kind of partnership, it's going to be incredible, and I'm super excited to bring that to you, our YouTube audience, and of course our guys in our Discord. And before we get started, one super quick update regarding the Bitcoin ecosystem. I've seen the comments in the last video, and it seems that the general market consensus is super overwhelming for BRC20 ecosystem stuff. So we're definitely going to be doing weekly updates regarding that. And on that note, we've just received update a couple of hours ago that there is yet another airdrop for Runestone holders. And if you remember correctly, there is going to be two more guaranteed airdrops. First one was the dog go to the moon meme coin, and there's going to be two more. But of course, who knows how many other airdrops are going to be given to Runestone holders, because projects just want some exposure, some marketing, and Runestone was one of the biggest airdrops on Bitcoin ever. So there's a lot of holders, a lot of basically free marketing for everyone who gives free tokens to Runestone holders. So it's a very, very valid strategy. Currently, as you can see, that the Runestone NFT is not doing awfully well, but it's down about 90% from all-time highs because this was really, really overinflated. But maybe if you want some exposure to Bitcoin ecosystem, now could be one of those moments when something of value is currently a little bit undervalued. Of course, you can always sell it at a profit later because when the second and third airdrops are announced, price might pump. So we will see what the future brings. All right, on to portfolio. So first things first, you have to have some stable coins or some cash in your portfolio. So to make sure that you are buying your high conviction plays on crazy market dips like what we had about a week or 10 days ago. So I cannot stress this enough. Stable coins must be a huge part of your portfolio. Depending how much crypto exposure you already have, it's going to vary, but usually between 20 to 40% of a crypto portfolio in stable coins is a must. So before we go into much details on all of these ecosystems, let us first see where you can actually deploy your stablecoins so that they're not just rotting away in your wallet or, God forbid, in a bank account. So starting with Infinex, we have already done many covers of this incredible project because I truly believe it's very underfarmed and perhaps flying under the radar. And with the latest integration with Ethena, where you actually have ability to generate sats even by 200x if you make a swap on the platform, the team just keeps delivering, the team just keeps building, and it's incredible to see. Create Run has finished, but you can still deposit and you can participate in the final stages before we're actually going to get some rewards from this project. Now, next up, I was really bullish on Ethena itself as well because they were offering incredible stablecoin returns between 15 to 35% over the last couple of months. But as of today, that SUSDY stablecoin yield is about 3.8%. So it's really not as good as it used to be. But again, we are primarily here for the airdrop speculation, so any extra yield you can get on your SUSD is great. You can deploy this in many different protocol dApps and even across many ecosystems. You don't have to do everything on Ethereum mainnet. Of course, we have done many videos on Ethena before, so all you have to do is simply go to our website and search for Ethena in the tab over here, and you will find all of the Ethena covers we've done across the months. And then finally, the last place, which might be perhaps even the safest potentially place to park your stablecoins, is in Stargate, because Layer 0 is going to have multiple rounds of airdrop, most likely. Otherwise, why would they say Layer 0 snapshot 1 was taken? So yeah, if you want to generate some decent double-digit APRs on your stablecoins across many different networks, for example, perhaps Scroll might be the best one due to scroll marks. If you want to do a little nice bonus, you can park your stablecoins in Stargate Finance and speculate on future Layer 0 airdrop as well. Now let's cover two Move programming language blockchains. So first up we have Sui. Many people believe that Sui might just be the Solana of this cycle, and while there are some valid points, it is still way too early to say such bold statements. Nevertheless, Sui is more and more becoming a home for some really nice airdrops. So first of all, we've had Deepbook airdrop a couple months ago, and recently we've had Sui name service airdrop as well. But I do believe that we are still only at the tip of an iceberg. There's an avalanche of Sui airdrops that is maybe just around the corner. So if you would like to get some exposure to a ecosystem that is probably going to appreciate in price nicely, while also taking place in airdrop world as well, where you can qualify for many ecosystem airdrops, then you can check out our latest video on Sui. It was in late May, so it's a little bit outdated. We might make another update in the next couple of weeks, but for now you have your classic liquid staking, so maybe catching the next Jito, we'll see. And then you have your classical DeFi yield farming, such as lending and borrowing. There are many ecosystem dApps that you can use on Sui for this purpose. Now, regarding the Aptos ecosystem, thesis behind Aptos is super simple. There's 51% of token supply reserved for the airdrop, and in October of 2022, when the airdrop number 1 from Aptos happened, only 2%, so 20 million tokens out of 1 billion, has been allocated to the airdrop number 1. This implies that a lot more token supply is going to be given for Aptos ecosystem, which means that it is definitely worthwhile to consider having some Aptos exposure just in case this 49% happens before 2030, you know. But anyway, all jokes aside, we've already had a couple Aptos ecosystem airdrops such as Pontem and Solana. They were not the greatest, but again, it's just a bonus on top of the main prize, which we are hoping to be this 49% of the token supply being reserved for community incentives. Same deal, if you have wanted to do some Aptos ecosystem farming, then check out our latest video, which was actually even older, from April. But again, you have the holy trifecta of Aries markets, Pontem, LiquidSwap, and potentially Solana as the top competitor now that it's really offering amazing yield, as well as one of the first V3.3 DEXs on Aptos ecosystem. Next, we've got one of the top 5 cryptos, which is Solana. And this one, obviously, you definitely want some exposure to because of so much development. A lot of new projects just keep popping on Solana. There's become a meme coin heaven in some cases, or hell, depending how successful you are with trading meme coins. But yeah, Solana has definitely established itself as one of the premier blockchains, serious potentially competitors to Ethereum, which is unfortunately or luckily still king of DeFi. So if you want to hold your Solana on a ledger or any hardware wallet, that's fine. But if you want to deploy it on some dApps, currently the Solana ecosystem has maybe calmed down a bit after the slightly underwhelming airdrops from perhaps Sanctum and others. But there are still great opportunities, perhaps in some perp dexes. Drift, for example, was really good. Zeta was not the worst, to be honest. But long story short, best opportunities to use your Solana on Solana blockchain currently reside with Meteora, or maybe even Solaire if you want to go a little more risky liquid restaking route with Solana and Solaire. Meteora, you can use it in the LMMs, and this is potentially the best way to generate really good yield. Just keep in mind, if you're going to use concentrated liquidity, you need to rebalance often, so this is a little bit of extra work. Then, of course, you have Orca and Radium for the best yield opportunities, but a little less of airdrop opportunities, so you kind of have to weigh where does your where does your interest really lie? More airdrops or yield farming? But again, they are very, very intertwined, so you can find potentially the best mix of both. Now let's move into perhaps an ecosystem I'm mostly bullish about, and this is Telegram Open Network or TON ecosystem. So we've done a recent update video regarding this one as well, where we illustrated why it is a very, very bullish scenario for Telegram. For example, it is, of course, the biggest messaging app in crypto in general, with almost 1 billion users. And as crypto gains more and more worldwide adoption, of course, I do believe that a lot of users of Telegram will have their first exposure to crypto through the app itself. There is a Telegram wallet that is integrated directly in the Telegram messaging application. And of course, you have your classic liquid staking with ton stakers, and of course, DeFi with EVA, DDust. And if you want to maybe get some exposure to perp dexes on ton, perhaps the best way to do that is through Storm Trade, because all of these projects have an ongoing points program, which means that we might be one JITO away from an explosion. I keep referencing JITO because it was the thing that launched the Solana ecosystem explosion way back in October and November last year. So if you want to be early for ecosystems, you kind of have to be ahead of the curve. Currently, there is not really too much of the TVL on Telegram Open Network, but I do believe this will change dramatically as more and more crypto adoptions get adopted worldwide. And then you have your Bitcoin and ETH. Of course, you cannot have a crypto portfolio without the two most important crypto assets in the world. So if you want to hold your assets on a ledger or hardware wallet, that's okay. But if you want to deploy it in DeFi, there are many, many great opportunities. For example, with Bitcoin Layer 2s, you have Stacks, Stacking DAO. We also have many other airdrop Legos. Let's call it like that. If you want to just have exposure to Bitcoin as an asset, you can put it in many different Layer 2s, such as, for example, keep in mind, this is not native Bitcoin, it is a wrapped version of Bitcoin, and those can go horribly wrong. Like, for example, Bitcoin on Sol. That's a story for another time because, again, this is a digital portfolio. So if you want to utilize your Bitcoin exposure on other blockchains, such as perhaps Merlin or Arbitrum or BNB chain, you can do so with Sol, and then you have Avalon and Sol combination. So again, we have covered all of this in our latest video, so you can check that one out. And regarding the ETH, honestly, at the moment, I don't really see a better place to park your ETH other than perhaps EtherFi, because liquid restaking meta is still in full swing, and it is one of the safest places you can use your ETH in, as its project has really solidified itself as a clear market leader. And before we get into the final part, quick reminder that we discussed all of these topics and more, everything regarding airdrops, ongoing airdrops, portfolio management, as well as, of course, Bitcoin ecosystem in our private Discord. We have created an incredible community that is very collaborative. We're all helping each other make money together, and it is a very, very nice privilege to be a part of it. If this is something that interests you, make sure to check out our subscriptions page where you can choose a monthly or yearly plan for our Discord, or you can also check out the airdrop tracking application that is an incredible lifesaver when it comes to time. If you're managing multiple blockchains, multiple wallets, maybe even, this will save you so much time. Right, so for the first 60% of my portfolio, it is very, very straightforward. But for the last 40%, this is where things get a little bit tricky, depending on what you're most bullish on as an ecosystem. For example, having 10% in TIA and modularity narrative is definitely something you can consider, considering that it is one of the best performing assets in the last couple of months. For example, Avail is up almost 50% on the weekly, so I hope you have managed to snag a little bit around 10 cents. Then Dymension is down considerably since the airdrop, but if you're bullish on this narrative, perhaps having a little bit of it in your portfolio is great. And Celestia is a bit of a rags to riches story, going from $2 to 20, and now you're seeing it currently just under $6. So perhaps a slow DCA approach into this could be worthwhile. Of course, you can stake all of these assets, and if you want to speculate on future airdrops, for example, Cosmos was very, very airdrop friendly over the last few years, a little less so in 2024. It is considerable. So we were in bear market. So maybe if you believe Cosmos ecosystem is still not dead, then perhaps you can position yourself for some of the modularity narratives. Then you have, of course, real world assets and artificial intelligence in the next decades or maybe even years. As technology becomes more and more integral parts of our lives, you definitely want some exposure to AI coins. Recently, there was a merger between Fetch, Singularity, and one more, and there's ASI. So So this is perhaps the easiest way to get some exposure to AI narrative. And then regarding real world assets, you have market leaders in Ondo and Mantra, but of course it depends how much exposure you want to these assets. Of course, the 10% is just a speculative amount. You can also go 5% in each or even completely ignore a category if you need some stablecoin exposure. So you need to plan this accordingly. And of course, the thing that was fueling, other than leverage, the thing that was fueling the 2021 bull market was primarily gaming. And I do believe that this is going to be one of the things that will onboard hundreds of millions of people into crypto because it's just such an easy narrative to understand. Like there's about 3 billion gamers in the world, so let's count the Candy Crush people as well. But in all seriousness, there is a huge potential if we just get one amazing Web3 game, like perhaps Illuvium, who knows, then I believe this is going to be an incredible, incredible narrative, maybe a repeat of 2021, because at the end of the day, we all know how Axie with its horrible tokenomics ended up being, but maybe they make a comeback. You definitely should consider having some exposure to gaming narratives. And of course, meme coins. There are meme coins everywhere. There's 50 new that were probably created in the last 5 minutes. But if you can identify the right ones, if you can really solidify yourself in a position where you can see what really makes people tick, like what is the culture behind it, is the team actually not going to rug you tomorrow. If you can master the meme coin game, there's some incredible gains to be made here. And one of the luckier, or let's not call it luck, let's call it skill. One of the more skilled picks in our Discord was the Trump token from a couple of weeks ago, where we're all sitting in beautiful multiples. But just please remember what's the type of game you're playing with meme coins. You cannot go all in, or it should really be way less than 10% of your portfolio if you're just starting. Let's be clear. So keep that in mind. And finally, when constructing a portfolio, you really have to keep a close eye on the percentage of circulating supply versus the locked supply, because most of these projects were kind of VC funded. So a lot of these unlocks are happening, and there's an opportunity for venture capitalists to really sell a lot of the tokens on open market, thus crashing the price. So when you are allocating your portfolio in these coins, you have to know what is the circulating supply. One website that can help you considerably on choosing which tokens to invest in when is Token Unlocks. We use this oftentimes for some short-term trades. For example, AVO of May 15th was incredible because they were unlocking 80% of whole token supply in one go. That was unheard of. So AVO dropped by 20%, giving you some incredible shorting opportunities. So yeah, keep an eye out on these as well. Sometimes the UI seems a bit weird because, for example, in one case, I saw that one is unlocking, so Jito is apparently unlocking 108%. What? So unless it's like super inflationary, I cannot really comprehend how it's possible that you unlock more than 100% of the token supply. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt. It could be a UI bug, but still it gives you a general overview of what assets to invest in at what times. And that's a wrap for all the portfolio updates for today. Of course, I would like to apologize if my voice was a bit cracking at times. I actually got a bit of a cold, so hope you can understand it. If you have any questions, I'm waiting for you in the comments below and in our Discord. If you like the content, make sure to like and subscribe with bell notifications on. Thanks for watching, and till next time, have an amazing day.